Hello everyone, and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we have another Twilight Princess, LavaDash Goron Mines RTA tournament here. Finals bracket, winners bracket quarterfinals between Skyreon and bewildebeest. I'm Star. Our two comps today are Link and Blowers. Take it away.
Hello everyone.
Link, go ahead.
So yeah, this is gonna be Beast versus Skyreon for this Goron Mines RTA race. So pretty high for that.
Yeah, it'll be a fun race. Sky is very experienced with the category, very long time runner, good runner. And Beast is, well, if you know who Beast is, he has a lot of records in this game. So it'll be a fun race. And so one thing that you guys will immediately notice is, one, Beast is playing in English because he owns the English version of the game. That's probably the only reason. And Sky is playing in Japanese. Japanese is faster by about a second. And Beast has a file named Particle. Don't know why.
Yeah, English is about a second slower, I believe. So it's really not that big of a deal. Language usually doesn't really matter in this game, so...
Oh, you see, Beast is going for the brilliant strat here. So he's naming his file Skyreon. So therefore, if Skyreon wins, he does too, because, of course, his file name is Skyreon. So, genius play by him. He's already won.
Yeah, of course.
And we'll be kicking it off here in just a couple of seconds. Guy going with characters that I cannot read because I don't speak Japanese.
And let's go. Good luck, runners.
Good luck to everybody. Good luck to Link for commentating.
Good luck to Glaberus for commentating as well.
Well, thank you. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to see here is we're going to see a lot of rolling and load zones. But then the second thing we're going to see is they're going to use a rock here. His name is Dwayne. And is going to use him to clip right through a gate. And the reason that we want to do that is because right now the gate's closed and we don't like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see how quickly we get through.
It is a common theme with this game that doors and gates, they just don't exist. They're just a mere suggestion. So Beast got pretty quickly through, so that's really good for him. And Sky just a couple seconds behind. And they're gonna execute a glitch known as back in time, where by resetting on the exact same frame as they void out, they can respawn on this died on screen weird state, where they can save a couple of interesting properties on their file, which are gonna have a really important impact on the run. And that also allows them to respawn at the Ordnance Spring, which doesn't really save that much time. It's really the other properties that this file has that saves time. And for example, they have a sword now, and they have a shield.
Yep, so the reason that the game does that, or at least the reason that we think the game does that, is because when you reset on the exact frame that you void out, the game just retains those properties of the file that loads the title screen with that sequence where Link's riding Epona across the Bridge Elden. And on that, they manually give him a sword, a shield, the hero's clothes, and a really important flag for later, which is going to be him riding Epona. So we'll see a lot of neat routing consequences just from the fact that they decided Link should be riding his horse.
More specifically, it's the flag that tells that Epona has been tamed, which normally happens after the Elden Twilight, after a little taming sequence after the Elden Twilight.
Yep. Now, by doing that, we were able to pretty easily get bow early. Not the bow as in the item, bow as in the Mayor of Orden, to give us the iron boots early. And they'll let us do what's called back in time equipped later, but more on that later. They're rolling across a field right now. This is the more important thing right now, so...
Yeah, and it's actually really important because rolling, you wanna execute as many frame perfect rolls as possible because otherwise you are gonna lose a ton of speed if you just get on a slope, because this game sucks with speed and it is a nightmare to task for that reason. And so they wanna execute as many frame perfect rolls as possible, otherwise they're gonna lose a lot of time, especially in those large areas where the game lags quite a lot. So you can lose a lot of time by not having frame perfect rolls.
Yep, so now what we've got here, like we just said about frame perfect rolls, it's a little bit unfortunate that in this game, as a human, the fastest way to move is frame perfectly rolling, but luckily we do get very early access, and we'll see this later, to the Wolf, where you kind of just mash the A button, which is a lot more relaxed.
Yeah.
But until then, we do have to chain these rolls, spacing properly to get into this cutscene here, where it shows panning up to the cage with the monkey in it. Now, as soon as we break open this cage, we're going to get to do the most important part of the run, goats, which is just important because they're goats and we like goats. So, we'll see exactly. Wonderful cage break time by Beast, with a safe hit. 409 is very respectable, and Sky not too far behind.
So yeah, goats is the first major RNG element in any Twilight Princess speedrun. Because yeah, goats, their position is consistent. It is 100% consistent, but their behavior, I'm not exactly sure what is RNG, but it's a bit RNG, and you can get really bad times. A good time is around 20 seconds, but you can get really bad times if you get bad RNG on goats.
Yep, so, and we'll be looking for, any runner will be looking for a time that's under 20 seconds. It's really the only RNG factor is in the goat's behavior, like Link had said before. For some reason, they're sometimes more reactive or less reactive than other times, which can cause a lot of craziness to happen, for lack of a better word. It's just random. And you can kind of see that right here, where Beast has had some of his goats turn around in really weird ways. Sky has one flying off to the side. These goats are not pretty.
Yeah. 31 for Beast and 25 for Sky.
Yeah. Still, not for just doing a race, not the worst thing in the world. We've definitely seen worse.
As long as you don't lose 5 minutes on the goats in the race, it's good.
I would be impressed if someone lost 5 minutes on the goats, personally. Now,
yeah, there would be quite an incident.
Exactly. Now that said, if someone did lose 5 minutes on the goats, please show me that video. I really want to see what happens. Like, that would just be interesting.
I can just show you my schedule breakthrough.
So now that we've done the goats, the only reason that we really had to do the goats is that sets the flag so that now Ilya will be in the spring with Epona after Epona gets hurt. And we need to go into that, and that will take us over to the sewers to meet everybody's favorite imp, Midna.
Yeah, unfortunately, at the moment, there is no known way of skipping the goats. Maybe one day?
Yeah, unfortunately. I do believe that any moon jump category, but that's obviously a cheated category, is able to skip them just by, well, using moon jump, but
yeah, it's pretty easy. There is a giant hole there for some reason. Yeah, also
see them. Go ahead.
A difference between any percent speedruns and this category, for example, is that you would see runners get the iron boots at around this time, actually, but they are not gonna get the iron boots right now because they want the Iron Boots cutscene at the moment is a bit glitched because of back in time, and they want to use that glitched state to set a flag in the memory, which is going to be useful later in the run.
Yeah, so we will actually be getting the Iron Boots. If you're familiar with how normal any percent or all dungeons runs go, we will actually be getting the Iron Boots. Just later we're going to be using Bo's text for what is called text displacement, and more on that when we get there. It's a bit of a technical trick, but we'll get there in probably, what, 25 minutes? Then we'll be in Elden by then. 30 minutes?
30 minutes sounds right, yeah. 33 according to Beast Bits.
Alright. Well, more on that in 33 minutes according to Beast.
Also, a technique
Now,
you can see in this area, which is the main movement technique as Wolf, is something known as dash cancel. So basically, whenever you cancel a dash, that is by dashing off a ledge or by doing a B attack, just like the runners just did, and a couple of other things. If you cancel the dash, I believe it's in the first 10 frames of the dash, you will get the dash refilled. You will not have the cooldown, allowing you to dash immediately after the dash cancel, which is very useful.
So one thing that we saw just there that is a very minor but yet interesting time save, we saw Beast get the Midna text displacement, which is completely different from other forms of text displacement, where you talk to her from a distance and then have one less text box when you go into the cutscene. Now, that's interesting because Beast was ever so slightly behind Sky just before that. Sky did not get the Midna text displacement, and now Beast is ever so slightly ahead. Which, some of that is probably having to do with movement, but that is about a half-second time save, and that seemed to make the difference. It's very nice to see some comparison like that when they're synced up like this.
I think Beast also got more first framers than Sky did.
Yeah, Beast definitely did get more first framers. But both of them getting the important one, both of them getting that one right off the rooftop there.
It's basically you skip the cutscene, and on the very first frame that it is possible to jump attack, you do the jump attack, and that skips and then that text, saving like 3 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we did just kind of passively mention one-framers, so what a one-framer is, and you just saw one there from Beast with that Midna jump, and Sky too, is that they are, whenever you have these Midna jumps, or sometimes out of text like we saw just coming out to the rooftops, there is a single input frame, not always, but in a lot of cases, where you can input an attack. So in the case of the rooftops there, or on a Midna jump, if you do that first frame, then you do get to skip. In case the Midna jumps, the little panning cutscene where Midna jumps over, or in that text case, just the text entirely.
Yeah. So now, at this point in the vanilla game, in your casual playthrough, that is where you would be getting the sword and the shield. Runners are not gonna do that. There are two main reasons for that. The first one is that it is slow. The second one is that it is not possible. Because of the flag that says that Epona has been tamed, the Orden village is currently in a state where it is actually impossible to get the Orden sword and the Orden shield. So even if the runners were to get to Orden village, they just could not do anything because there is nothing. So instead, they are gonna use this nice Bulblin that is there, that is called Hugo, to do what is known as the sword and shield skip. And we'll see it happen, hopefully first try for both. Because this...
So it's a...
Yeah,
go ahead. We'll see here. So Sword and Shield Skip is a relatively difficult trick, especially for beginners, but it is outright required. So what they're doing here is they're using Hugo, this Bulblin here, to jump over a trigger where Midna will tell you to go back and get the Sword and Shield, into one behind it that lets you into Farron Woods. So both the runners getting it first try, Sky getting it a bit quicker than Beast, both very, very nice. Definitely not a trick you want to be stuck on.
That was actually a gold for Sky, which is really good. Yeah, failing this trick, if you fail this trick, you basically need to void out to respawn the Bulblin with full health, because the Bulblin only survives to 2 jump attacks, so you need him to be alive after the first one. So if you fail it once, you need to void out, which loses about 1.5 minutes. So yeah, that's good that they both got it.
Yeah, very, very nice. Guy getting a bit of a quicker fight against the Shadow Beasts here than what Beast went for. which I've actually never seen anyone do that before, where they get the first spin attack to only hit the 2 side beasts. Very interesting, but obviously a bit faster. Very nice. So now we're going to be getting the Farron vessel here. We're going to have to complete the Farron Twilight, and Sky attempting to open the map, apparently. Now, the reason that we want the Farron vessel, we do need to complete Farron Twilight, just to be able to do, like I mentioned earlier, back in time. But they're going to be doing it in an interesting way, because we don't want to have to backtrack through Farron at all, but we don't want to finish the Twilight at the very end of Farron Woods either, because we do want to get the Master Sword. So what they're going to do is they're going to both leave those first 2 tiers to be collected, and then they're going to collect every other tier, and then they'll go and get the Master Sword, which is going to be interesting. It's a very unique route through Farron Woods compared to the other bite routes.
Yeah. Goron's RTA in general is a pretty unique route. It's a really interesting route.
Very much so. And then what you've seen both of them just do now in Koro's house, there is a nice little time saver that you can do where if you release senses just before, there's really a range that you can release it in to turn off the senses while releasing that Midna charge, then you will kill the bugs before the sense disables, but then Koro isn't actively there to have his little text where he says, "Huh, where'd they go?" So, very nice little time saver, just skipping some text off of that.
And Beast having some trouble with this bug. It can be quite annoying. That's an unfortunate time loss.
Yep, unfortunately that bug is very, very good at tag.
Yeah.
And Beast falling victim to that really good tag playing. I know we all have fallen victim to that when we were kids, so we all know that feeling.
Yeah, this bug, if you don't manage to kill it quickly, this will happen, which is really, really annoying.
Now, one thing that you may be wondering is, well, I'm seeing, like, Sky just didn't get any one-framer there in 2 cases. Well, it's not that he's not getting them, it's that first one he did miss it, but then that second case, it just isn't there. So like I mentioned before, or hinted at, it's not always available. Which, honestly, that part I just don't understand. But,
it's always available whenever there is a midnight text right before the jump, except in one single case where it's not possible for some reason. But whenever you have a single midnight jump with no text before that, it is not possible. It doesn't exist.
Interesting.
So yeah, Sky voiding out to respawn those bugs. It is slightly faster to not void out, but it is also much more inconsistent. So that's a good choice in my opinion. Simikins
we'll be going. Yes, for sure. So we'll be going into North Farron here, where we're going to see the aptly named EMS Super Jump, which is, they're not going to get the Master Sword. EMS standing for Master Sword, Early Master Sword, but it's also just the name of the jump. They're going to use it to go around this arena so that they can skip the whole fight and go and get these final tiers.
Really nice.
Getting it relatively quickly. Yeah, very nice for both.
Yeah, Sky got a bit of a bad RNG. You have to get a specific swing of the beast to be able to execute the jump. He got a bad RNG the first time, which is why he intentionally took damage.
Sky going for a little bit of a not normal strat there with those tiers too, where he B-attacked into the first bug instead of charge attacking them both. Very interesting. I'm wondering if that's something specific to this category, because I do know that for all other categories you want to enter Forest Temple, or at least open it up. So you will usually just B-attack or charge attack both of them, so that you can get that Forest Temple opened up early.
So now runners are gonna execute the EMS jump a second time. This time to actually get the Master Sword. Really nice from Sky. Let's see it from Beast. Bad RNG. Yeah, really nice from both. Yeah, that was pretty good for both.
Yeah. I mean, all in all, the same RNG from both. Sky got second swing on the first one, and Beast got second swing on the second one. Both of them got first swing for the other.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, entering the Sacred Groves, like, what, 5 seconds apart? Something like that?
Yeah, just about that. Look, maybe between 5 and 10, 6 or 7, something like that. But very nice to see the runners as synced as they are up until the Master Sword. So now we're just going to be doing some pretty casual gameplay. There's not really anything too crazy going on with the Skull Kid fight. We're just going to chase him down, follow him where he goes. The only thing that you might see different from a casual playthrough is we know where he is. So we're just going to go right there.
Yeah, this sequence is really scripted. You cannot do anything to speed it up except have good movements, which is really important. Again, speed in this game is pretty important. And yeah, the only optimization you can get basically is trying to have cleaner lines, and that actually saves quite a lot of time. Like, you can save it 1 or 2 seconds across the entire Sacred Groves with just your lines.
Definitely. Vectoring like that is super important. Like I said before, wolf movement is trivial. You just kind of hit A when you can. So it's going to be a lot about taking correct lines, curving in as short of paths as possible so that you can get back to taking a straight line to where you need to be. Just optimizing the movement in that way is going to be super important. You can save quite a bit of time over the course of any run just by doing that, especially in other categories where most of our categories are 3 hours or more. So if you just do that over the course of 3 hours, you will save quite a bit of time.
Yeah. Because it's like maybe only a couple of frames each time, but those frames, they add up.
Exactly. The example I like to always use is if you can save maybe 0.2 seconds per load zone, think about how many load zones there are. There's a couple hundred. You're saving quite a bit of time. Maybe not a couple hundred, maybe over 100, but still, the point remains. So now getting into the actual Skull Kid fight here, the only big difference that you're going to see from a casual playthrough here is, well, we know how to fight him, is basically it. He's vulnerable when and Sky missing. Oh no. Oh no.
That's pretty bad. If you get too close to Skull Kid, he'll just teleport away, like this.
Exactly. So you're supposed to only attack when he's blowing the trumpet. Sky attacking, trying to anticipate attacking just before that. That lost him all of the time that he had over Beast, and they are now pretty synced.
Yeah. That's really unfortunate.
Very. Looks like he still retained a little bit of a lead, but nowhere near as much as what he had. Maybe 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds now. Yeah, maybe about 2.5.
Yeah, like 3 seconds apart. So now runners are coming to the hardest part of this run for sure, the Master Sword puzzle. I really hope they get it first right because it is really difficult.
Yeah, this is definitely the hardest part of the run for sure. I'm interested to see how they go about this. So the first thing that they're going to need to do, it's very technical, you need to go left, and then you need to go down. Then you need to go up 3 times, right twice, down 3 times, left once, and up once. It's a lot to remember, but let's see if they can do it.
That's pretty good so far. They got it right.
Yep, very good execution so far.
That is some great RNG too.
Oh, wonderful RNG. These stone guys are RNG in the fact that they just aren't, so it's completely consistent, and we've just been joking this whole time. Very well done doing the puzzle that we all know how to do.
Also, you can see the runners activate some senses between the jumps. There's a 2 frames window where you can input something, and the only thing that really has an effect is, yeah, activating senses.
Yep. And getting a mid-22 on the Master Sword is Really solid from both of them for a bite route. That is really good.
And for a race as well, it is really good.
Yeah. No, definitely very well done from the both of them. And just looking at both of their splits too, they're tied not only in where they are, but in how far off their PB they are. They're both 25 seconds behind, which is even more surprising.
Yeah. So a question I saw in chat also while we're just in that cutscene. So technically wolf movement is faster than human movement, but it really depends on the area. There is a couple of areas where it is gonna be much faster to go as wolf than human, and some areas where it's gonna be much faster to be as human than wolf. But yeah, you also have to take into account the time to transform from human to wolf and from wolf to human. So it really depends on the situation. But yeah, in long areas you wanna be dashing as wolf. In short areas where it's not worth to transform, you wanna be rolling as Link.
Yep, exactly. And it does also depend on the room, like Link had just said. There are some areas that Wolf Link so Human Link will cap out on flat planes at 32.8 or 0.9 speed, where you will cap out at 33 as Wolf Link, and that 0.2 will almost never justify a transform. Transform taking about 4 seconds. That's quite a bit to just justify 0.1, 0.2 speed.
It's different in the HD version since you have a button to fast transform, but this doesn't exist in the Wii and the GameCube versions. So yeah. So yeah, now that this really long cutscene is done, runners are gonna complete the Twilight. They are gonna take the last 2 tiers, and they're gonna get the last 2 tiers and complete this Twilight. And we are coming up to the second major RNG element of this run, which is King Bulblin 1.
Yes, and you may be wondering how they're going to get the King Bulblin 1 fight so soon after completing the Twilight here. And that's what I mentioned before with Back in Time Equipped, or Bite. So what they'll be doing, now that they've finished the Twilight, in as simple of an explanation as possible, basically, we've just put South Farron Woods into the correct state to allow us to do Back in Time. Then when we do Back in Time, they're going to load up the title file sequence on the file select screen, overwrite the load onto the file they've just saved in South Farron, and because it has the correct room ID, it will instead load that room ID over the map ID that the file has on Back in Time, which corresponds directly to the King Bulblin fight.
If you did not understand anything, it's normal. Bite is a very complicated glitch to understand.
Bite is not a trivial glitch to understand. It is a trivial glitch to do, though.
Yeah. You just open up the map, the menu while falling to the void, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. And then we get to see Link scream on the file select screen, which is fun.
So yeah, KB1, you wanna hit him a couple times, and every 3 turns he has, I think it's a 50-50 chance to turn, and you generally don't want him to turn, otherwise you're gonna lose a lot of time, just like Sky got, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's some unfortunate RNG that you can get from King Bulblin. I don't believe it's a 50-50, but I think there's bias towards King Bulblin running away from the player. But it is RNG if he turns into or away from the player. It's not fun sometimes, as we saw some pretty bad RNG from both runners there. Now in Phase 2 of King Bulblin 1, we're going to do a pretty cool turnaround, spinny attack thingy. And yeah, so you know that whole jousting sequence? Yeah, if you cheat at jousting, it works pretty well. I imagine it was banned when jousting was an actual thing.
Yeah, this Phase 2 is 100% consistent, and if you know how to do it, it is also really easy.
Yeah, and then now we're in Kakariko Village, which is normal for when you beat King Bulblin, but normally it's not in the Twilight. But we haven't beaten the Twilight yet, and the Twilight is exactly the reason we want to be here. The runners are going to go into the next part, the most fun part of the run, and I mean that unironically, Elden Twilight. Elden Twilight is so much fun.
Yeah, it is the best part of this run.
It's a very technical, pretty... It's got a very high floor, it's not hard to get decent at, but then there's so many small things that it's got a high ceiling too, so it's just satisfying for everyone involved.
It's not hard to get decent at, but it's really hard to get extremely good at.
Yep, and both the runners going for the about a half-second time save, rolling across as wolf, or as human, and transforming after getting into the Twilight segment. So we'll see exactly what their end segment times are here. Beast and Sky both not going for a dash cancel there, which is interesting. Wonder what the reason behind that is, maybe having to do with the length of the slope that they were on. But a dash cancel there does seem like it would be more apt.
I've never seen
And by that I mean I timed it.
Like you mean
They
on
did
the
dash?
path, on the path to the graveyard, you mean?
No, not in the path to the graveyard, just after they get out of the water with the where you transform now that you get the vessel or human, as you just transform, dash canceling immediately so that you have a full speed dash instead of having the reduced speed from the slope that you're on.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, I've never really thought about it. But yeah, while we were talking about that, runners executed a trick where you just transform and you can stand up through the well. You're not supposed to be human at this point in the game, so the devs never thought to protect the well from human Link.
Yeah, we said earlier...
Yeah, go on.
Yep. So we said earlier that gates and doors are suggestions. Turns out that the well is itself either a gate or a door. I haven't figured out which yet. Frankly, it's more like a lid to me. But, you know, it is clearly one of them because it's also a suggestion.
Yeah.
So which one do you think it would count as, Link? Do you think that a lid is more like a door or a gate? Well, you consider that we're going into the inn here, where there's going to be some very bonking onto the side of the bar there, just so that the bug from upstairs decides to jump down early.
And that was pretty clean from Beast.
Yeah, pretty clean from Beast, and so far it's been pretty clean from Sky, too.
Not getting the bonk. This run
no bonk strats. So unfortunately, both their runs are now invalid. Sorry to say. I'm obviously joking.
So 2 different strats for those roofs there. I believe it is a couple frames faster to do what Beast did, but what Sky did looks so cool.
Yep, the double dash cancel does just look so cool, even if it's not technically fast by a couple of frames. And then so now we're moving on shortly here. They did both get the one framers, very nice.
Yeah.
But we'll be moving shortly on to the bomb house skip. So both of them are going to do a fun little sequence where they get to, well, first kill the bug in the bomb shop, but then the bomb house up above, if you remember a casual playthrough, the bomb shop or bomb house will catch fire and blow up. We don't like that because cutscenes are slow. So we're going to kill the bug from the outside, and the game's going to just assume that the bomb shop is blown up. Probably the simplest explanation for that, and the quickest one.
To put in perspective how much time this thing saves with how many cutscenes there are in this thing, it saves about 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's something like 42 seconds if my memory's correct. It's crazy how much time this saves. And Beast bonking on the side of the bomb house there, obviously that took 42 seconds, so unfortunately all that time save is null from that tiny bonk.
Yeah, that was really clean from both. That's what you want to see.
Very, very clean. Yep, very nice to see a good bomb house skip from everyone. One nice thing about modern TP is that Wolf Bomb House skip is relatively solved these days. It's not as daunting of a trick as it was, say, a year and a half ago.
Yeah. You can use the Gale Boomerang to execute a much easier strat for that. It is a couple seconds faster, it is safer, much easier, but it is not possible in this category because, well, we do not have the Gale Boomerang.
Yeah. Now, one other thing that we're going to see here, neither of them went for the fun jump. Never mind. There's a fun jump that you can do there where if you turn yourself instead of side hopping and dash off, you can land on a little rock and get a double dash cancel, which is saves a little bit of time, but it's also just really cool. So
you can get it with just the side hop too, but it's pretty precise.
yeah, you can get it with a side hop, but it's very precise, and then your angle's bad for the dash. So, but moving on to the very, very end of Elden Twilight, we have Death Mountain Trail. There's a single bug, and then they're just gonna run up to Death Mountain. Very riveting.
Yeah.
And avoid some steam, though. Because we are not PC gamers. This is all played on a GameCube, or probably a Wii. I would be surprised if either of them were on GameCube.
Nah, they're both on the Wii.
Alright. So they're both playing on the Yes, so good for them.
And yeah, in this room there is a cycle with this team above that they want to make because it loses a lot of time to not get. However, this cycle is really easy and they both got a clean fight, so they both should get it. Yeah, that was... Sky was even really early on the cycle, which just shows how easy this thing is.
Yep, definitely. Both these runners are very skilled, so that cycle, which isn't necessarily the hardest thing, but just showcasing how simple it can be. Very nice to see. Definitely something that could motivate a newer runner who maybe is having difficulty getting that, just seeing how far you can get it by.
Yeah.
Alright. Now we're going to do the fun part where we enter the Goron mines. So, first thing that we're going to need to do, like I said before, there is a glitch called text displacement. So we're going to go to Orden, so that we can talk to Bo anywhere from 2 to 6 times, but 4 to 6 if you want the text conversation to be remembered by Bo. That will give us text displacement being literally just a broken text bit from a cutscene, and go and use that on Goron up in Death Mountain, where he would normally prevent us from entering, both 1, casually because we haven't done any wrestling with him, and 2, in this run because he thinks that Goron Mine's been completed because we got the Master Sword. So we need to break that, and we can do that by breaking Bo, which fortunately is a consequence of just doing back in time, so all we need to do is just talk to him a couple of times. Then go and talk to Goron, and we'll be able to get in. But we do also need the iron boots that Bo is going to give us, so we're not only going to talk to Bo once, we're going to talk to Bo twice, which is very fun. We love talking to this man. We definitely don't dislike this guy from any percent runs.
Oh yeah, no, this guy is really nice. I don't see what you mean.
Yeah, no, he's a nice guy. He has never messed up anyone's run ever.
No, never. Nobody ever resets to Bo.
Exactly. One time, I heard of someone resetting to Bo, and they were, well, let's just say they never did it again.
Yeah.
Beast
Like,
talking 3 times? I might have miscounted that because I was watching both of them at the same time.
I didn't count for Beast.
I'm going to assume Beast counted 4 times, because if Beast counted 3 times, that's just losing time because he felt like it.
Yeah. And yes, Sky talked to Bo 6 times.
Yep, 6 is really the standard. You'll see either 2, 4, or 6. 2 is going to be just getting text displacement if you want to be safe and maybe be able to get it back. 4 is that no turning around point of you now will have this one shot. 6 is talking the maximum amount of times before you no longer have text displacement.
Yeah.
So.
Because this sequence has 7 text boxes, so if you go all the way through the 7 text boxes, that you just cannot get text displacement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Japanese is the optimal language for this category. It saves roughly seconds over English.
yeah, it saves less than 2 over English, I believe. If I remember right, the slowest language is Italian for this one, and even then, I think it's only like 4 seconds compared to Japanese. Beast going for some side hops to skip those Roly Boys there. Good work, and by Roly Boys I mean Gorons. I definitely did not forget their name. Sky doing the other strat and unfortunately getting hit. That is not a huge time loss at all, but just kind of not fun to see. It always feels bad to get hit by the Gorons when doing those side hops.
It is really satisfying to get to skip both, but it's
Definitely.
precise.
Wasn't German the fastest? Yes, so German is the fastest for specifically any percent and all dungeons.
And also low percent, actually.
And low percent. So in this game, there's a lot of different game or categories that different languages are fast for. Like Hundo, we have English. Any percent AED and low percent, we have German. Master Sword RTA, we have Italian. This category, we have Japanese. So there's definitely some variance between the categories, but yes, in general, German is a safe bet. Or English, actually.
If I remember correctly, there is also, it is 100% plus, where German is much faster. And yeah, it's usually just...
That would make sense with all the rupee text.
Because of the rupees, yeah.
Yeah, interesting, because in Hundo, the main reason is those bugs. The bug text in German is very, very long, which makes English the faster one. But with how many rupees you get in 100% plus, which is just 100%, but you get all the rupees, or all the chests, which a lot of them are rupees, then, yeah. Beast talking to a chicken.
That's really nice from him.
Very, very kind. Wow, what a stand-up guy. Let's see if Sky decides to talk to a chicken.
That is
being informed. Oh, so the chicken didn't want to talk to Sky. I'm being informed that it is called a cucko. I'm well aware that they're called cuckos, but it's more fun to say chicken. Honestly, in this case, real life has the better name.
So Beast talked to Bo 6 times, actually, earlier.
He talked 6 times?
Yeah, he only got 1 text box there.
I am very bad at counting. Do not hire me to teach your 3-year-old to count. So, Bo here is rock, paper, scissors, but with, like, slapping and stuff, so yeah. We're going to have 2 phases of this rock, paper, scissors. Beast getting not a horrible phase 1. Sky getting a slightly worse, but still not horrible phase 1. Beast's phase 2 not going great so far. But he's bringing it back with the good old grab technique.
And yeah,
Bo Sky getting a perfect phase 2.
Yeah,
alright, now they're... Ooh, alright, so Bo is a major RNG factor in this run, and that has basically tied it back up.
Yeah,
very nice to see.
That is really good. And yeah, Bo is something you, in 80% speedrun and in a lot of other categories, you would see Bo in 7 minutes into the run. So getting a bad RNG on Bo usually means resetting, because you can lose like minutes. You can literally lose minutes to bad Bo RNG and you just cannot do anything about it.
Is there any significant RNG after this? There isn't any significant RNG, but that's not to say there isn't any. So the main bit of RNG left that we'll see later on Dangoro is doing his quick cycle to get the quick 3rd hit on him. That is RNG, but that's not a significant amount of time. We're only talking a few seconds.
So both runners at the exact same time, basically, they just executed, they both executed a pretty clean early elevator, which allows them to enter Goron mines much faster. I think it's 20 seconds faster than entering the normal way. The reason why they could not do this earlier is because, well, Goron didn't. They didn't advance Goron's text enough, so they couldn't talk to this Goron to open Goron mines.
Yeah, Sky taking the lead there on literally just moving better through the early elevator sequence. Very interesting to see. These runners being pretty much synced entering Goron mines. Beast only a couple of seconds behind. Very good run so far. Very nice to see.
And
See
yes,
if any of them go for pipe jump or if that's just me.
no, only G's would go for pipe jump.
True. Geez, you better go for pipe jump later. You and I are the only two, and I failed it.
And
I'm
actually,
going to assume Geez is listening.
if Sky gets a really good Goron mines, he might PB because right now he is 0.9 seconds behind his PB.
Oh, yeah. Very good point. Yeah, he could definitely PB. That would be interesting to see for sure.
Oh,
Beast is, I don't think Beast is capable of PBing. I don't know. Beast has only done like 3 runs of this category. He could gold everything for all I know. But yeah, so definitely just moving through Goron mines in the most casual way possible. Nothing really weird happening here at all. There's a lot of weird things happening here. So right now they're going into the second room where there is a cycle that they're on, and they're going to go for 1 good movement and 2 Sky not going for it. We'll see if Beast goes for it. There is an early cycle bit of movement that we call risky, but time save note saves 4 seconds only. Beast not getting the cycle.
So this would
I'm
be...
a little confused by that.
He got the first one, but he didn't get the second one. He wasn't fast enough for the second one, so this would be risky, but time saver to node saves 2 seconds only, I would guess?
4 seconds only.
But yeah, but since he didn't get the second one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, probably about 2 then, yeah, that would make sense. He did get risky, but... Oh.
Oh, okay.
Beast having too good of movement to confuse us commentators. I see your game, Beast.
So, this stone slab that was right there, you can just clip through it by just rolling through.
Yep. That is slab clip, aptly named, because you clip through a slab. Go figure.
Also, nice gold from Sky.
Yeah, good job, Sky. Bringing out that PB pace, minus 0.5. It'd be very nice to see a PB at this high of quality of a run from the runners. That would be amazing to see. Guy bonking, really so that 0.5 is gone.
So now is the most boring section in this run, which is the magnet.
No. Second Elven Twilight here, so we're going to be walking on a ceiling. They are going to be doing some attack sequences where they do a little bit of faster movement, and Sky has bonked his sword, so he has lost all of the time saved from doing that. Absolutely wonderful strat. Everyone should go for it. It saves so much time to do so many inputs versus literally just walking, that if you clang your sword, you lose that time. It's brilliant. If you can't tell, I don't go for it because I don't like it.
Next room is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, so this next room is a good old... Well, not this next room. This next room's the main room. That's not a very interesting room at all.
Yeah, exactly. I was...
But the room after
the one
that...
after that.
Yeah, so the room after that is one where we're going to see the Wolf Gate clip, which is a very fun strat, and totally worth it to go for in all categories, even the ones where it saves significantly less time. But we'll be seeing some interesting movement to first get a small key, then clip through a gate as the wolf. So like we said before, gates are suggestions. We haven't really abused that fact yet, except for at the very beginning. We're going to see what that means in terms of a wolf.
Also, yeah, as Simikins just mentioned in chat, 3 seconds apart. Like, probably less than that right now. This is such a close race.
Yeah, very nice to see from both runners. Sky going for the dash on the water before dropping down, Beast going for it too, making me think that my choice of how to do this is just slow.
Also, let's see this. Basically, you can just... all of these gates, actually, you can just walk through them, just like Sky just did, and that was really clean from both a second apart from each other, or something like that.
And Beast getting it just a bit faster than Sky, so now it's almost exactly synced.
Yeah.
Very nice to see. We'll see if both of them get the strat that I don't know the name of, where they just do like walkie-grabby. Sky getting the walkie-grabby, Beast not getting it.
So yeah, Sky taking the lead.
By, looks like maybe a couple of seconds.
Yeah. Everything can change still. There is still one major trick remaining. That could change everything. Actually, two, since Sky goes for a trick that Beast, I don't know if he goes for. I don't know if he goes for it unless.
I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't seen Beast attempt to do BMO skip, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Beast had learned it. So we'll see. But before we get to that, we have quite a bit. First of all, we're going to do key shard skip. So let's see how this goes. This is a frame perfect jump where they're going to grab a ledge.
That was really
Sky getting setupless first try, Beast failing it the first try. And second try. This is a little unfortunate for Beast, but very nice Sky. Definitely good to see when you're going on a PB pace. That may be the deciding factor for the race, honestly.
Yeah,
Beast
it is probably
still not. Ooh. Very unfortunate. Beast is It's looking like Beast is trying to manually set up the angle with a setup that I've at least never seen before. Sky moving into Dangaro, so we're going to do some pretty quick, cool jumpy jumps, where he's going to clang the shield a couple of times and then throw Dangaro so that as he gets thrown, Link grabs the ledge. That makes Dangaro bounce like a basketball, and Sky got bad RNG, so no quick third cycle. Beast finally getting key shard skip, moving into Dangaro. We'll see if he gets better RNG, but that is a massive time save for Sky over Beast.
Yeah, unless Skyreon fails the BMO skip and falls into the water, that is probably the deciding factor for this race, unfortunately.
Very unfortunate to see, but we'll see if Beast gets some good RNG here. Doing the throw, he dribbles Dangaro.
Unfortunately, not great RNG.
Unfortunately, yeah, not great RNG there either. Well, don't want to curse it, but if Sky does fall in the water, that could tie this race right back up.
Yeah. It's... Even if he gets it, those are two incredible runs right now. Those are two incredible plays. Especially for a race.
Key shard skip aside, this has been an incredible run from both runners. Both of them are doing phenomenally. If you, for some reason, don't know who either of them are, definitely check them out. They're both amazing at this game. That don't let a single trick having slightly poor performance keep you from saying, wow, these guys are amazing at what they do.
And yeah, also, to talk a bit more about KSS, the ledge is right there, so you might be like, this looks super easy, but it is actually extremely precise. It is a really difficult trick. So, having the fact that Sky got his first try is extremely good.
Yeah, very. So one thing that we see here that's a little bit different from other runners that I am honestly confused about the weird amount of controversy about is whether or not pulling this BMOS here twice or 4 times is faster. I see Beast and Sky both pulling 4 times, yet I've also definitely been told that pulling twice is faster. I think that the reality is that it's probably the same, and do what you want. 2 is a better number than 4, that's my personal opinion, so pulling twice is better.
From what I know, it's really 2 is faster by like frames. Timikins did a comparison video on his channel, and it ended up being a couple of frames faster to do 2. But it is just safer to do 4 if you don't lose a lot of time. Okay, so let's see this beam escape from Sky.
Yeah, so far so good, looking really nice.
Other way around, okay.
He went around for the safer way where he does the quick hop up onto the small ledge there, so he went a little bit safe with that BMO skip, but very good execution, very nicely done.
Yeah. Also, thank you Simikins for correcting me. That is the other way around. 4 is a couple frames faster than 2.
4 is a couple frames faster than 2. Well, like I said before, 2 is a better number.
Yeah. Oh, and Beast missing those iron shots. No! So yeah.
Beast not going for BMO skip, presumably because he didn't learn it and it only saves like 4 seconds. So it's really not worth learning unless you really like cool things.
It saves 2 seconds, but only if you do it right. If you don't do it right, then you lose time. Also, Sky isn't PB pace right now, 4 seconds ahead.
Yeah, Sky on that PB pace. Sky looking to get a nice, clean... Oh, he might bop Demon. Yeah, if he gets that 4-second PB, he would bop Demon by 2 seconds.
That was a scary thing from Beast, but that was a scary jump flash from Beast, but he got it.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, he has 4 potential seconds to save on this segment. I mean, Sky, so...
Ooh, very nice. We'll see if he gets those extra 4 seconds. Now, unfortunately, that wouldn't put him ahead of anyone else, but definitely would be nice to see a little bit bigger of a PB.
So yeah, both runners in the final fight, which is extremely easy.
Yeah, so the only real fun thing to say about this fight, there are 2 interesting things about this fight. One, if you do some good positioning, you can pull down Fyrus really quickly. Neat. Okay, that was kind of cool having a sync on the grabs, but the wrong attack.
Okay, that is other fun. That is a massive PB. Well, massive PB. That is roughly 10 seconds PB from Sky. There is basically nothing left, just a cutscene. So yeah, congratulations, Sky.
So congrats to Sky. Timing does end on hitting yes on the Midnight asking to leave the dungeon prompt. So we'll just have to sit through this cutscene here and go and say yes to Midnight. Now, that said, we do have one other fun little piece of trivia about this fight. You do not need the iron boots for this fight. You just need the bow.
You do not need the bow for this fight.
You don't need the bow for this fight. I wasn't aware of that. All I knew is that you need 11 arrows to beat this fight. How do you do this without either?
If you don't use the bow, you need the iron boots. If you can do a moon jump attack to barely hit the crystal on the Furious head.
Oh wow, interesting.
But unfortunately, this doesn't allow us to skip the bow since, well, you need the bow to get there. But yeah, congrats Beast. Congrats Beast too. But congrats Sky.
Sky getting a 57:20, a very respectable time, the best time in the race so far. Very good race from both the runners. GG's to Sky. Beast finishing up here in just a second. And if the runners would like, we can definitely do an interview. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, roughly 10 seconds maybe from Sky. And with need to be redirected, it's a 57-20 flat. But yeah, congratulations, Sky. That was a really good run.
Very good run, Sky. Congrats on the PB. Congrats on the race. You did phenomenally. And congrats on the free time save at the beginning of the run to not doing safe bit.
Yeah. And GG.
And GG's to Beast. But still very
58-16.
respectable.
Yeah, still a really good
58-16.
time. So yeah, I guess we can. Both runners are in the waiting room. I guess we can move them in.
Hello, hello.
Howdy.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I
Congratulations.
forgot to
Yeah,
finish
congrats.
out race times.
Yes,
Thank
you did forget to finish the race time. But congrats to the both of you.
Enjoyed
That
the
was a
watch.
phenomenal race. You guys were synced multiple times. Very, very well done. A little bit unfortunate with key shard skip, but you guys were pretty much synced going into it. So
Yeah, Sky would have won even if I had gotten key shard skip first try. I kind of screwed up the rest of it too. But yeah, that was a good race.
That was
But,
a really
hey.
entertaining. Yeah.
Very
you for
fun
that.
watch. Sky, congrats on the PB.
Thank you.
Wait, it
Updating
was
a
a
PB.
PB?
That's yeah, it was
Yeah.
PB by like almost 10 seconds.
Nice.
Updating my PB from like I think a year and a half ago or something. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
big
was
congrats.
a really good run to watch.
thank you.
Well-
It was really fun. We were just chilling in voice chat, and I was so happy to hear it whenever we both got something first try. Like first tries for shield skip, and both getting past EMS pretty well.
Yeah. I think like the most that you were, the two of us, the most that you were apart was like 10 seconds or something like that before KSS. That was a really good race.
Yeah, did we sync entering Goron Mines just like the race from yesterday?
Yes, you did. Well, not an
like-
exact sync like yesterday. It was about a 1.5, 2 second difference.
Yeah, something like that. That was
That's
really good.
No, very, very well done. Anything that you guys have to say about the runs other than wow, Sky managed to PB? Congrats on bopping Demon, back up to 5th place.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
No, it was just really fun, and I'm glad it was so close. It was very fun being in voice chat with Beast, and I was not nervous at all. I was a bit nervous like a few days before this race because I was like, oh, Beast is so good at the game, and my rolls aren't really that good, etc., etc. But yeah, it was just a pure enjoyment doing the race.
Yeah, we were just hanging out. Good race.
Hey, good. That's a good way to do it, right? Just gotta have
Yeah.
fun with it.
And let's see. So you're facing Pheno next. And I'm facing whoever loses between Dean and G's.
All right. Well, speaking of Dean and G's, that race is actually going on starting
now, yeah.
ASAP
Oh, that's the
right
one?
now. Exactly. Yep. I'm pretty sure that Link and I are the comms for that one too. So whenever we're finished up here, that will be getting started.
As far as I'm concerned, we're finished up here.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys for the phenomenal race. It was very fun to watch.
Thank you for the commentary, and thank you for the restream.
Thanks.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
huge
well,
shout
good
outs
luck
to
with the next races.
both of you. That was a really good race.
Thanks.
Thanks.
See ya.
Yeah, GG's, guys.
See ya.
All right, and with that, as mentioned, we're switching races immediately to the next one. We've got ourselves D Machine versus G's coming up right now here on ZSR Main. We're going to have a couple minutes here for us to switch over, as I do need a bit more than 2 seconds to switch races. So we'll have about a 5-minute countdown here. We'll go back to the countdown scene, and then we'll be back here in a few minutes for more TP.
All right.